Hello and welcome inside Chrysler Center for WCBN Sports' presentation of Michigan basketball. I'm Alex Drain, joined by Nick Hornberg for today, which is the final game of the regular season for the Michigan Wolverines. Also, senior day. A lot of storylines to talk about. Michigan trying to lock up the number 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament today against the Wisconsin Badgers. A lot of stuff going on.
Yep, of course, big emotional day. Hallie Thome and Nicole Munger, the two senior captains, getting honored today before the game on the court, along with two seniors, Taylor Rooks and Samantha Trammell, neither of which of them play much and don't look to figure all that much into today's game. But Thome and Munger been carrying this team for 4 years now, including this season where the first season post Caitlin Flaherty, arguably the best player in program history. Now Hallie Thome, third all-time in program history in points, second all-time in rebounds, an opportunity, and really I'd say already established as a top 5 player in program history. And Nicole Munger, also a contributor. Really, the whole team has rallied around Munger and taken on her ethos in terms of the quote that you and I both know well, as said by team manager and WCBN member Lucas Vargas, "The hungry dog runs fastest." And of course, this is the last opportunity for the fans here at the Chrysler Center to see them in an important game with Michigan and Ohio State dead even in the standings. Michigan is ahead on the tiebreaker. They play at exactly the same time. Ohio State playing at home against Rutgers right now. Michigan controls their own destiny, the position you want to be in to get a double bye. Michigan wins today, and they get the double bye in the conference tournament. If they lose and Ohio State wins, they don't.
Yeah, always a big stakes for these ever important games down the stretch. Pretty decent crowd for a Sunday where students are out of town.
Yeah, there's actually a substantially bigger crowd than I ever expected, considering it is spring break, and while it is March, it is still quite cold outside.
Yeah.
And again, a Sunday midday game, not something you'd think of that would draw a big crowd, but Michigan fans, an excellent turnout tonight.
Big Ten women's basketball tournament starts Wednesday. It runs Wednesday to Sunday in Indianapolis. The same bracket format from the men, with 13 versus 12 and 11 versus 14 on the Wednesday. Then 4 games on Thursday. If Michigan wins this one, they would not play till Friday at around 2:30 p.m. So a lot of rest potentially at stake. The Badgers enter this game pretty low in the Big Ten standings. They are currently sitting second to the bottom. And we're going to have the tip-off here. It'll be between Lewis and Thome, and it's won back by the Badgers. Wisconsin in the away red uniforms, Michigan in the home whites. Wolverines had a 7-game winning streak snapped in their last game against Michigan State a week ago. They've gotten a lot of time off, and they're going to have a travel called, and the Badgers turn it over on their first possession. And
that's the first sticker play right there of the game. Nicole Munger, in an interview with WCBN back in December, I believe it was, talked about sticker plays, plays that Michigan women's basketball team has: charges taken, turnovers forced, blocks, and steals. And really, their goal is 10 per game, and that's the first one right off the bat.
Amy Dilk back into the starting lineup at point guard. The freshman from Indiana had an injury, if I recall correctly, earlier in the year, and there's a shot put up off the mark. Hallie Thome couldn't get it to go, but now another turnover by Wisconsin, taken away quickly. Dilk gets it up to Thome, and she's going to have an easy underhand lay-in.
And you are right, Drain. A few weeks ago against Nebraska, Amy Dilk went down with an ugly knee injury.
Yep.
That kept her out for 2 weeks. She's played the last 2 games off the bench, and this is her first game back in the starting lineup.
Wisconsin gets themselves set up offensively. Carlos with the ball. She hands it off. Now Imani Lewis drives baseline, puts up a nice shot off the window, and good. Lewis is the second leading scorer on the team at 12.3 points per game. Michigan gets it quickly up. Dilk outside. She's wearing the knee brace, and Thome finds Dilk in the paint. Dilk goes to the rack, lays it up, and lays it in.
That's actually, Dilk has worn that knee brace all season, residue from an injury she suffered in high school while playing for Carmel. But yes, the injury was on that exact same knee.
So Wisconsin trailing 4-2 in the early going. There's a shot and a nice underhand scoop. Very, very strong play there from Nia Beverly. Michigan intent to get it up the court very, very fast. Now they go inside to Thome. She fumbled around with it. Now kicks it out. Open three look, and it just cannot rattle home. Good-looking shot from Deja Church.
And Michigan not a good three-point shooting team all season. Nicole Munger, the only player shooting above 30%.
Now in the post, Wisconsin in some trouble. Throws it and almost intercepted again. Church got her hands on that errant pass. Beverly with it. She's going to drive inside. Gets around Dilk, but then is repelled in the paint. Nice little handoff and a lay-in. Good passing there from Wisconsin to find, I believe that was, Leszewski. And then a very quick score there from the Wolverines.
Well, it's clear early on this game is going to be won and lost in the paint. Michigan, not a great shooting team. All of their strength derives from what they do inside the paint.
Leszewski was not listed as a probable starter, but is get the start for the Badgers. Now, Wisconsin on the perimeter, 10 on the shot clock. Dribbling inside, trying to find Lewis. Now gets it to her from the free throw line shot. Way off the mark. Easy rebound down by the Wolverines, and they come quickly to it. 6-6 game, just under 3 minutes gone in the first quarter. Underneath, there it is again, Hallie Thome. Great feed.
And that's what Michigan's been able to do all season. And that's what they missed with Amy Dilk out injured, able to play the ball over the top. Amy Dilk, of course, 6-foot-tall point guard, not something you see every day in women's basketball. And Hallie Thome, 6'5". Michigan has won games just on playing balls over the heads of defenders.
We're going to get the first foul of the game. It looks like Carlos drew that foul as she had driven into the lane. And it will be a shooting foul. Billed to Munger, one of the two major seniors on this senior day. First free throw for Carlos is off the mark. It's still 8-6 Wolverines.
And really, that's something Wisconsin is going to need to do to beat the Wolverines, is that, of course, Wisconsin really is at a big disadvantage going into this game in most categories. And to beat Michigan, you're going to have to take what they give you, and that includes free throws.
Carlos makes her second, so it's an 8-7 Wolverine lead. Quick trap there on Amy Dilk. She did well to get out of it. Now quickly in the paint, outside, another three opportunity, and that one's a full-on air ball. Wisconsin grabs down the rebound. It was a corner three look, open shot, just unable to get it to go. Now baseline, we're going to have a blocking foul on Thome, it looks like.
Well, players on the bench not really happy about that, but I think really that was the right call. Hallie Thome using her body to really force, I believe that was Carlos, out of bounds.
Wisconsin to inbound, under the basket, trying to get it in, and looks like I'm going to get a foul before the inbound.
I'm not really sure why. This crowd is very silent.
Yeah, no one really knows what's going on. And they'll do it again. Nothing was said. Maybe it was a clock error. I don't know. There was no foul announcement. Good open look for Wisconsin inside, but that one unable to go, and then rattled around out of bounds to Michigan.
Amy Dilk got a little bit lucky. Looked like she may have gotten the last touch off of that one.
So Michigan has now forced yet another Wisconsin turnover. That's been hurting the Badgers here in the early going because they're shooting 3 of 5 from the field to start. Michigan cycles it around Dilk, drives just inside the paint, now finds an open look. There's a three, and Munger couldn't get it to go.
And I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of that in this game. This team does take a fair amount of threes, but they have absolutely no consistency with it.
Munger at 36%, one of the better three-point shooters on the team, as a matter of fact, just couldn't get that one to go down. Now Wisconsin dribbling with it outside. It's Beverly. Goes to the corner, now a baseline drive, curling towards the rack, throwing it up, no, tipped around, and I think we're going to get another foul as it was Van Leeuwen who had managed to get inside and get a decent look.
And really the ref so far with a tight whistle.
Yeah.
Now that's Amy Dilk really looks like she's going to make a play for the ball, a contact largely incidental, but either way, a harsh decision.
5:20 remaining in the first quarter. Michigan now with the 3 fouls. Wisconsin has to get it in desperately to beat the 5-second clock. Badgers outside, dribbling around with it, trying to find a way to get inside. Good Michigan defense, as you see, like Church locking down inside, and she'll grab the rebound as a miss. Great job to repel any potential penetration. They kick it out to Munger. Munger goes to inside, and a pass just too high and out of bounds.
Well, it looks more like a miscommunication right there as we get to the under 5 timeout, as Munger playing that ball at a height that would be more appropriate for Naz Hillman. Of course, Hillman, Michigan's leading scorer and leading rebounder, despite the fact that she does not start, is an absolute force in the post. And that high ball, it's the same way that they run it with Hallie Thome. Most effective when they're both on the floor, actually. However, either way, that's a ball really looked like it was meant for Naz Hillman, not for Kayla Robbins.
So 4:55 remaining in the first quarter. 8-7 Michigan over Wisconsin here. In the early going, Wisconsin doesn't have a lot to play for today other than pride, because they're locked in to the 12-13 matchup. They will be playing Penn State in that game pretty much regardless of how this one goes. It's just for superficial seeding. But Michigan quite a bit on the line, and really it's been an interesting Michigan women's basketball season because of how much the complexion of it has changed, because they went from a team that was not in the NCAA tournament picture, but then that 7-game winning streak got some big wins, including one over Iowa, and now they are the number 8 seed in the latest ESPN bracketology that I looked at this morning.
Yes, and Michigan, really, a lot of questions were asked of this team, fairly so, going into the start of the season. Of course, as I said, you don't just simply replace the best player in program history, which Caitlin Flaherty was, but they had a decent core coming back with Munger, Thome, Haley Brown, and then the further question, a lot of the pressure would be placed on who was going to run the offense. Deja Church looked to be a candidate, but Kim Barnes-Arico putting a lot of trust in a true freshman in Amy Dilk. And Dilk, to a large degree, has delivered. There's still weaknesses in her game, shooting most notably, but it remains. She's done pretty well in the and Michigan and the whole team has largely responded and played pretty well for large stretches of the season. But right before that 7-game win streak, they really endured a rough stretch, and the question was asked, would they even be able to finish 500? And Michigan answered that question authoritatively, and now they have an opportunity to have, I believe, the 3rd straight season with 20 wins.
Well, out of the timeout, Wisconsin to do the inbounding. After that Michigan turnover to conclude, and now there's a pass intercepted. Great job to read it by Nicole Munger, and Michigan had it in a 3-on-2 for a second, and they capitalized by an easy lay-in there off the window from Johnson.
Well, that's an absolutely fantastic play by Nicole Munger. Looks like she should be going out and running in the combine with the receivers, but and I was actually mistaken. Kim Barnes-Arico has won 20 games in every season at Michigan, and now she has a very good opportunity to continue that.
Badgers have wasted a lot of the shot clock just dribbling outside. Now they're going to finally try to get something going. A slash to the rim, and the bounce pass just not on the mark.
And that's just a bad pass right there. I believe that was by Howard. Off target and rushed because of all the time they wasted.
So Michigan with the ball. Munger will bring it up. Pass to Church outside. Hillman in the game, establishing herself in the post. Can't get it to her yet. Munger outside, now they get it to Hillman right around the free throw line. She'll go back to the basket, try to go up with it, and we had a tie-up there. Possession arrow to Michigan.
That's a quick whistle for a jump ball. It didn't really look like any Wisconsin players, either Beverly or Lewis.
Well, Hillman did go up and came back down with it, so it was either going to be a tie-up or a double dribble / travel. Now, nice feed inside. Look at that. Deja Church cutting to the basket and a great find.
All too easy. Excellent run by Deja Church. Really running a bit of a screen there off of two Michigan players.
Now Michigan going with a bit of a half-court trap, having to kind of find their way out of it. And then a great feed by Wisconsin to get it down low for the easy lay-in there for Imani Lewis.
That's the risk of playing high, is you're going to open up space underneath the basket, and Wisconsin able to exploit that.
And Hillman had it down low, and she couldn't finish. The Badgers get the defensive rebound and now come up the floor with it.
Hillman rubbing her face a little bit. Looked like she may have taken a shot as the ball went down.
Beverly goes inside, and we're going to get a travel on Marsha Howard.
That's the second travel called, and that is the 5th turnover in the first quarter by Wisconsin. That's a situation Michigan really needs to win. They've a lot of their games have been bolstered by high turnover numbers of the opposition.
Well, Hallie Thome checks back in. She does the inbound to Dilk. It's Johnson, Munger, Dilk, Hillman, and Thome out there. 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. They get an open look. Hillman, free throw line. Her jumper just off the mark. Loose ball over to the corner. Nice job to chase it down by Nia Beverly. Now here comes Wisconsin. Oh boy, dangerous pass and out of bounds. Another turnover.
Gilreath a little bit unlucky there with the slip, but that's an off-target pass. And going back, that's not really not great shot selection by Naz Hillman there. Not a great shooter at all. Of course, it's a bit odd to say that when she's shooting 65% from the field all season, but pretty much all of that is underneath the basket, where she's virtually unstoppable.
So 12-9 Wolverines with 2:47 to go in the first quarter. They'll go to Thome inside, and she's just got that way, way, way too easy.
Yeah, Wisconsin right there getting lost with Dilk setting an off-ball screen down there in the post. Really an advantage for having a 6-foot point guard.
Michigan does another trap, and it had an easy layup opportunity for Wisconsin, but off the mark, Michigan grabs down the rebound. Dilk passes it to the corner. Now they throw it across the court. Got Johnson. They'll go right back to Munger the other way, and she's going to can the three, and Michigan goes up 8, and we'll get a Wisconsin timeout.
And really something that Nicole Munger has improved on substantially is that quick release. For much of the early season, Nicole Munger would be a bit reluctant to shoot the three, aside from when she had space and time. And now she's getting more confident in that quick release.
2:07 remaining in the first quarter. Michigan, their largest lead of the game, 8 points.
And really the difference maker so far has been the senior in her last home game, Hallie Thome. 8 points, 4 for 5 shooting. Not contributing at the boards at all, but either way with that one, so 8 points to go with that 1 assist, which of course is a consequence of Michigan's power in the paint. Thome able to hold the ball up and make passes out to players with open looks. If Michigan could shoot a little bit better from 3, this team would really be dangerous.
So 17-9. Badgers do the inbound. Michigan continuing to go full court press here and try to force more Wisconsin turnovers. They've been very sloppy early on. Thome looked like a potential block, and now the ball is loose, and we're going to get a foul on Hillman.
It's happened enough times at this point, I think you'd say that's Kim Barnes-Arico's game plan. Michigan attacking Wisconsin physically under the basket. Don't really seem to have any issues getting the fouls called so far, even though a little bit scary considering Michigan a little bit thin.
So it'll put Marsha Howard on the line. She is Wisconsin's leading scorer and leading rebounder. First free throw is too strong off the heel.
And once again there, Wisconsin, Michigan giving them free points at the free throw line, and so far proceeding to waste those opportunities mostly.
And the second one for Howard, that one also off the mark. Rebound, Hallie Thome. So missed opportunity there for Wisconsin. Dilk leading a fast break. Over to Munger for 3. Way too strong. Not getting any of the rim. Now Wisconsin comes up the other direction. They're going to try to run out in transition, but Michigan does a good job of getting back. They'll try to go into the block, and a steal there by Amy Dilk takes it away. 95 seconds to go in the first quarter. Almost fumbled away there in the corner, and now another dangerous pass from Michigan. Munger able to get out and corral it just in time. Now they go inside Thome. Great pass. It looked, she had the opportunity, but off the hands of Haley Brown. 7 on the shot clock. Dilk outside. She's going to dribble into the lanes. Got to put up a little floater, and that one off the mark. Rebound Wisconsin. We're going to get a travel as a very awkward-looking rebound by Marsha Howard. move too many feet.
Marsha Howard not happy with that at all. I think she's trying to make the case that she got a dribble off. But Michigan, they're forced into an awkward position. It worked out nicely for them, but Amy Dilk, not really a great shooter, and her primary strength putting the ball in the net is at the rim.
Yeah.
And having forced to take that fall-away jumper, which is already a low percentage look for good shooters.
And looks like we're going to have another whistle. This has been a very whistle-driven first quarter, rather.
And that looks like that was a foul on Kelly Carless. I'm not sure what. I think it was a hold off the inbound.
And Michigan gets the inbound out to Thome. She's standing at the edge of the block M, gives it off to Dilk. She'll look to get a screen, but Hillman decided not to. Now Hillman stands at the top of the arc. Dribbling inside is Dilk, and she traveled.
Another unlucky moment there. Dilk looking to cut in and really just kind of lost track of the ball, held onto it, and forced to take the travel. But really, I think that's a situation that Michigan struggling with. Naz Hillman getting that ball at the top. That's exactly what, if you're Michigan, you don't want. Naz Hillman, not a great shooter, and you saw it there, Wisconsin sagging off. When Naz Hillman has the ball at the point, they're essentially playing 4-on-5 at offense.
So 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Difference between shot clock and game clock, about 18 seconds. Badgers could have gone 2 for 1, but now they're in trouble. Throwing up a floater, and a great shot there to get it to go down by Nia Beverly. Shot clock turned off, so Michigan can hold for the last possession of the first quarter. Our score, Michigan 17, Wisconsin 11. Thome outside to Johnson. Hillman finds Church down low. She puts it up, no. Rebound by Hillman, puts it up, no. And I think we're going to get a foul underneath. Church looks to have drawn the foul, and she might get 2 free throws here with 1.1 remaining.
I think that was Kelly Carless again, her second. And that's something that head coach John Sippis will have to look into. And it's Deja Church, the one, as you said, Drain, getting 2 free throws.
Church first goes down, 18-11. Kayla Robbins checks in, as looks like Munger is the one headed to the bench. Church's second one rattles around and does not go. So our score, Michigan 18, Wisconsin 11. A pretty strong first quarter there from the Michigan Wolverines, getting a lead. They want to play ahead against a team they should beat, and they get an early lead. And
Ohio State applying pressure over in Columbus at near the end of that first quarter with a 22-9 lead against Rutgers. Rutgers already clinched a third-place spot in the Big Ten regular season standings. Not much for them to play for, same as Wisconsin. However, Ohio State has the opportunity, as I said previously, to get through to get into that 4th place with Michigan and Ohio State even in the standings, but Michigan having the head-to-head by virtue of the win here in Ann Arbor on MLK Day weekend with Naz Hillman, the game-winning layup with 7 seconds left in that game. And fantastic fourth quarter comeback for the Wolverines. Now it's looking to be the game that makes the difference. Each team 10-7 going into today in the conference standings. And Michigan in control of their own destiny because of that game. They win this game against Wisconsin, and they are in the double bye regardless. If they lose, they need both Ohio State and Michigan State to lose today. Michigan State a game behind, 9-8. However, if they finish with the same 10-8 conference record, Michigan State will get in ahead of Michigan in the standings, for the reason being Michigan State winning the head-to-head matchup, winning both in Ann Arbor and in East Lansing.
Well, it's not just important for Big Ten standing seeding for the tournament, but also, it's an important game because you don't want to lose a game to a team like Wisconsin. Michigan's moved off the bubble formally, but, a bad loss can put you back in that position. Michigan probably, needs this game, and I think they're probably safe in the tournament if they can win today. But a loss to a team like Wisconsin with a 4-13 conference record, not going to help.
Yeah, things not really going well for Wisconsin this season. Michigan already won the first game of the season series in Madison by a score of 76-70. That was the second game on that 7-game win streak.
Well, Wisconsin mentioned in their media packet that we were handed that they had lost, I believe, 9 games by 10 points or less this season. So they've been a bit snake-bitten.
Well, it's kind of hard to judge to see how they've lost because, for example, Michigan, a lot of their wins during the 7-game win streak were close for large stretches. Even against some, they were losing at halftime, but still they were able to pull away in the fourth quarter. Be interesting to see how Wisconsin has lost those games by single digits. Were they largely dominated for much of the game, or did they come back near the end, or did they give away leads?
So here we go, starting the second quarter. Wisconsin with the ball as Michigan had won that jump ball, the tie-up rather, off the possession arrow. Badgers in some trouble, fumbling it around. Now they get it back. A runner in the lane off the mark, rebound by Church. Here comes the Wolverines up the other direction. Church was trying to lead a fast break and then decided to throw on the brakes. Thome gives it off to her. Now Kayla Robbins tries to find Hillman inside. She was triple-teamed, and a takeaway by Wisconsin. Now Beverly looking to get it inside to Lewis. Instead, she'll hand it off to Carlos. Back to Beverly. It's Thome and Lewis matched up. Lewis going to take a jumper from way outside, and rebound grabbed down by Robbins. Quickly get it up, and a layup opportunity by, looked like Johnson, and the rebound tipped around. Couldn't tell if that was Hillman or Robbins putting up the second chance, but neither could get it to go.
And really, that's a low percentage shot by Johnson, but honestly, it's something I don't really mind her taking. Kenray Johnson really been a catalyst for a lot of the 7-game win streak, has been absolutely on fire, starting in the first game of that streak where she put up 19 points off the bench against Iowa.
8 on the shot clock for the Badgers. Drive inside, put it up, no. Rebound, second chance by Amani Lewis, and she puts it in.
And that's just sloppy defensive play by Hallie Thome, who is largely very strong in the post as a defender, but really sloppy there, not boxing out.
Hillman at the top of the key. Outside Johnson, they try to get it inside to Thome, and that's just a bad pass. Thome had a defender wearing her like a cheap suit, and that needs to be a on-the-money feed, and it was way off the mark. And then a layup opportunity, no good. Michigan grabs the rebound.
Why a cheap suit, Drain?
Church inside. She lost that one. Michigan very sloppy, and it's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow to the Wolverines. They've now claimed the ball off the possession arrow twice now in the early going of this one.
And Kim Barnes-Rico making a quick change, and this is where Michigan, situations where Michigan has fallen off. The second quarter, without doubt, the team's worst quarter of the season. And a lot of the reason is second quarter, for some reason, they get very careless with the ball. They turn the ball over in bunches.
7:45 to go in the first half. Dilk. And an open look there. Looked like a step-back three-pointer taken by Brown. And no good. Michigan still not scored here in the second quarter. Badgers outside. Carlos. Tight defense being applied. Dribbles around a screen, now finds it inside, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Nice job to take the charge there by, it looked like Robbins.
Fantastic job by Kayla Robbins. Usually that's Nicole Munger's business. The senior, I believe, has drawn more charges than any other player in the country. And nice to see fantastic stopping, moving her feet just at the right time.
That's 2 fouls now on Marcia Howard, Wisconsin's leading scorer. 7 minutes remaining in the first half, and they try to get it inside to Hillman again, and the pass is batted aside and taken away by Wisconsin. Michigan really struggling to hold on to the ball. Beverly into the post, double team applied, and Michigan gets the takeaway. Nice job to apply the trap there. Swarming in the paint. Dilk outside Munger, and she took too many steps. Another turnover.
And you see it again. It's starting to happen once again in the second quarter, and it's really important to not force it like Amy Dilk did on the prior possession. Naz Hillman's been bracketed pretty effectively by Wisconsin, and Dilk there getting a bit too aggressive and really just trying to rifle it in there.
So score remains 18-13. To give Michigan credit for all this dry spell they've been in, they've been still guarding very, very well. Wisconsin's only shaved 2 points off the first quarter deficit in about 3.5 minutes of basketball. And another takeaway. Michigan has a chance to run out in the fast break. Dilk drives inside, lays it up, off the window, no, tipped around. Looks like a rebound by Robbins, and then it just taken away. Neither team's gotten a lot going here in the second quarter. Very, very sloppy play. Beverly into the post. Marcia Howard, double team once again, and she looks to find Lewis, and I believe it went off a Michigan hand, so it'll be an inbound, 5:52 to go in the first half.
Bad second quarter really for both teams, and neither team really wants to score, and both teams just want to give the ball away.
Here's an open look for Wisconsin from distance, and just cannot get it to fall. Badgers not shooting well. That was Van Leeuwen, who was off the mark from 3. Kayla Robbins gets it inside. Now a put-up. Count it! And a foul. Great play by Haley Brown. She caught the pass from Robbins, drove inside, got bumped, put it up off the window, and good. She'll get free throws to go with it.
And you saw it there on a little team talk before the Haley Brown's opportunity to complete the three-point play. That's extremely important for the sophomore from Hamilton, Ontario right there. Haley Brown playing the stopper there for a substantial cold spell for Michigan.
And now standing at the line is Brown to get her free throw, and she can't rattle it home, so unable to complete the three-point play, and it's a 20-13 Michigan edge. Almost halfway through this second quarter, just 2 points for each team in this frame. Good defense applied by Munger, and now a strip taken away. Driving inside, Haley Brown to the rack, lays it up, no, but she'll draw yet another foul.
It's hard to say right there. At that point, you watch that strip, and it's actually kind of frustrating. You see Haley Brown was gifted a layup, not able to finish, but still drawing the foul, potentially very important. That was on Gilreath, I believe it was.
Yep.
That's her first, but either way, in this situation, when you're already leading, having that foul may be more important than having the points.
Brown swishes the first. 12 turnovers now for the Badgers, 7 for Michigan. Very, very sloppy, but the key, Michigan currently has 9 points off turnovers, make it 10 as she swishes the second. Wisconsin only 2 points off turnovers, so that's the difference in the game right now.
You show right there, having the choice between the points and the foul for the other team. If you're a good free throw shooter, then it's a false choice. You can take both.
So Michigan up to 22-13, their largest lead of the game. Wisconsin hasn't scored in about 3.5 minutes. And Michigan really locking down the interior. Already 8 on the shot clock. Repelling any drives outside. 4 on the shot clock. This might just have to be a pull-up in traffic. Throwing it up. Does not hit any rim. That'll be a shot clock violation. And we hit the under 5 timeout. Michigan forcing the 13th Wisconsin turnover of the game.
Yeah, you saw the defense wasn't even great in those last 4 seconds or so, but because there was so little time left, Wisconsin forced to give a high percentage, really allowing Michigan, really allowing Van Leeuwen that entry into the painted area and making it a much easier shot. It ultimately did not go because it was on the rush.
Well, the big thing is that for Wisconsin, it's just taking them so much time to get inside. They're standing around and passing it until there's about 8 on the shot clock, and then they're trying to rush and just getting repelled at every turn. We have some bright spots of Michigan athletics on what's been a rather murky weekend.
Mostly involving Wisconsin as well.
Yeah. Michigan softball did pull off a monumental win, defeating number 5 Washington 4-2. They knocked off 2 top 5 opponents this weekend after having been dropped from the top 25 for the first time in 15 years. So could be a season-changing victory there.
Would not surprise me at all to see them go back right back into the top 25. Yeah. Of course, the big wins are there, and Carol Hutchins of course, really an institution in college softball at this point, more than deserving of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, it's been a curious season for the softball squad, but they play Cal State Northridge this afternoon, and they can get that. They'll go 3-0 on the weekend. They'll have one more tournament, and then just like that, the home openers for both baseball and softball right around the corner.
Yes.
In just 2 weeks from Friday, that we were just past, so only 12 days away now.
Of course, at a time where seasons are changing here, spring on the way, may not necessarily look like it outside now for those of you living in the state of Michigan, but it remains, and the season's coming to a close. Of course, men's basketball played their final game at the Chrysler Center on Thursday, a victory over Nebraska. Women's basketball playing their final regular season game here, and the women's team will go to the tournament at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis on Wednesday, as you said at the top of the broadcast, and hopefully for them, and we'll sit out the first 2 days, and then 2 weeks away from the men's team going to Chicago. And WCBN will deliver that coverage. I believe that will be myself, Daniel Thompson, Lucas Vargas, and Nate Sorensen.
Yeah.
And
well, I just hope that it warms up, because the forecast for the next 10 days are still 30s, which not great to be playing baseball and softball in that kind of weather. Out of the timeout, Michigan with the rock, up by 9. Nice feeding around the perimeter. Now Dilk drives inside, gets a little back screen, lays it up, and off the mark. Rebound pulled down by Howard. Wisconsin needs to find a way to pull themselves out of this rut. Just 2 points in about 6 minutes played here in the second quarter. They try to go inside, another takeaway. Michigan with yet another steal. They get it quickly up to Nicole Munger. She drives inside, puts it off the window, rattles around, and no good. Munger 3 points and 3 assists on the day. Beverly to Carlos. They kick it around. Open look for 3 and unable to go. But another rebound. Here's another try, and that one finally goes. Naya Beverly knocks it in, and Wisconsin trims the deficit to 6. Dilk, quick feed to Deja Church, who finds Foam inside, lays it up, but is fouled.
And Michigan took a lot of fouls early on in the first quarter, and now Wisconsin 4 fouls in the second quarter to Michigan 0. 1 foul away from the bonus. Really, that flow of the game flipped on its head.
So we have Thome at the free throw line, and she rattles the first one down. The shooting numbers are pretty ugly. Wisconsin 37%, Michigan 36%, but big factors at this point is the 13 turnovers for Wisconsin to 7 for Michigan. Thome will get a second. And she makes that one, so successful conversion. Michigan now up to 5 of 7 on the day from the free throw line. Badgers dribbling it outside, passing on the perimeter. Trying a drive inside to the rack, throwing it up, but off the mark. A really good look. And we're going to get a foul underneath, I think, on Michigan. Not sure who it's going to be on. I know it is on Wisconsin.
And that's on Leszewski. And now Michigan, 3 minutes left in the first half in the bonus. And for those of you who aren't aware, women's basketball, more similar to the NBA than it is to college men's basketball. Once they get into the bonus, there is no double bonus. Once you get into the bonus, you shoot 2 free throws.
So Church will go to the free throw line. She makes the first, puts Michigan up by 9, 25-16. This is where Michigan can really capitalize on shooting some more free throws than the Badgers. And the second one goes as well. A handful of Badger fans in the stands today. Looks like some family of the team sitting behind them, and then a smattering of some red shirts across the stadium. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Michigan 26, Wisconsin 16. A running hook shot is off the mark, and having to come in and corral the rebound there was Munger. Also looked like Brown came in to try to help. Church, nice feed. Brown open three, just too strong. And a rebound by Carlos. She'll run up quickly with it. Trying to find the open look. Michigan not giving a whole lot inside. They go back to Carlos. Nice extra pass to the corner, but deciding not to take the three. And now the ball's on the floor. Bounced around, now driving baseline, and a bump. It's going to be a foul underneath. Looks like on Haley Thome.
And there's a handful of ways that could have gone differently. Hallie Thome really getting called for fouls really every time she's been in that position all season, but largely avoidable. If Michigan able to box out underneath and prevent the ball getting back out to Wisconsin players on the perimeter, they would have nullified that drive, and Hallie Thome would not have been in that position.
So Wisconsin gets the fresh shot clock. Michigan in the bonus. Wisconsin is not. Only one foul on the Wolverines, and we're going to have a 3-second on Wisconsin. They just cannot stop turning it over.
And 3-second calls, really one of the rarest calls you see in basketball. Up there with the double dribble.
That's now 6 Wisconsin turnovers in the last 6 minutes, and they're one of their last 7 from the field. Michigan hasn't made a field goal in the last 3.5 minutes, but they've been able to capitalize on getting to the foul line. Johnson outside, nice feed to Hillman, but she can't finish. Going to be out of bounds off the Badgers. Looked like Jonathan Sipas, the coach for Wisconsin, not sure if he was mad about a potential over the back or about his players not boxing out effectively.
And really, it's been a scary afternoon so far for Naz Hillman, 0 for 5 from the field.
Hasn't gotten a rhythm yet. Now another look inside, and that one is swatted. Badgers take it away, and now they're out and running to the lane. Carlos puts it up, and it goes. Looked like Munger tried to draw the charge and got bowled over, but no whistle whatsoever either way. Wisconsin finally snaps their cold spell. They get it to Johnson in the corner, and she picked up her feet, so it'll be a travel on Michigan. 1:27 to go.
And Kenray Johnson's three-point stroke has improved in the last month or so. I'm surprised she didn't take that, considering she was wide open.
It wouldn't have been a bad idea if she had.
And a bit of a game update as Rutgers has cut the lead in Columbus to 7. Ohio State leads 28-21.
Michigan applying that full court trap. Badgers get it in. Carlos, one extra pass, too overzealous, but now inside, putting it up. No, off the mark. Imani Lewis gets her own rebound. Another try, and she'll get fouled, go to the line. Good hustle play there from Imani Lewis.
And the issue there, Michigan gets a break, and then they're not able to keep it, and Kayla Robbins really trapping that pass, but Wisconsin able to recover that away from from Kayla Robbins, rather, and able to really muscle her off the ball.
Lewis unable to get that one to go. So Wisconsin now 1 of 5 at the free throw line. That's one of the big factors in this game. Wisconsin 1 of 5 from the line. Michigan 7 of 9. Make it 2 of 6 now for the Badgers as they split the 2 free throws. 26-19 Wolverines. Michigan only 32% from the field. Haven't scored in 2 minutes and 0 for their last 5 from the field. Now they get it inside, laying it up and laying it in. Kayla Robbins finally breaks the cold spell. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Wisconsin in some trouble firing it up the court. Corralled by the Badgers. They're careful not to throw that one away. Now baseline drive, offensive foul. Great job to draw the charge there by Kayla Robbins.
And Kayla Robbins, also a bit of a deeper reserve player, same as Kenray Johnson for much of the early season, but now Robbins has improved a little bit under the radar because she's not scoring as much as Kenray Johnson, but Robbins a lot better on defense and on offense than what she was earlier in the season.
So under 30 seconds remaining and about 9-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Driving inside, laying it up and laying it in. Great job by Johnson, and puts Michigan back up 11 after Wisconsin had come close to trimming it. 15 seconds remaining, and that one's tipped. Takeaway by Michigan. They can hold it to the last shot if they want. Laying it off behind, putting it up, count it, and a foul. Yeah, I think so. there's a whistle. I don't know if it was on the shot or it was on a different play. I believe they'll count the basket.
They're counting the basket. The whistle was about in line. I'm not sure they would have called it on, though.
No, here's what happened. It was on whoever had the ball first. I believe it was Robbins. As she was driving in, she laid the ball behind to Johnson, and then she got bowled over by a Badger player. So the foul is on whoever knocked Robbins over, Marsha Howard.
That's Marsha Howard's third.
Yep. So I believe this should be 2 because we're in the bonus.
And it is not a shooting foul.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Michigan on a 6-0 run in the last 45 seconds.
Yeah, really. Yep, it'll be shooting 2. So potential 4-point trip.
It's a massive break for Michigan right there, and I can totally understand Coach John Zippis for Wisconsin being absolutely furious with his team.
First free throw goes down. Michigan now leads by 14. A chance to go up 15 at the break after it was just within 7. I mean, it could have been a 4-point game at halftime if Wisconsin had closed the half well, but instead, Michigan now a chance to have their largest lead of the game at halftime. Wisconsin will get one more possession, 9 seconds on the clock after this second Robbins free throw. And she drills the second, so 34-19. Wolverines, Badgers in trouble with the full court trap, trying to throw it up and almost taken away, but we're going to get a bump by the Wolverines. They do have a foul to give. So the Wisconsin inbound with 1.7 remaining.
Yep, and that was Kayla Robbins' second foul. For some reason I thought that was her first, but either way, don't really have a big problem with that. They have less than 2 seconds left on the clock. Highly improbable with how slowly Wisconsin's offense has operated that they'd be able to get a good percentage shot off.
So 1.7 on the clock. They're going to go deep for Carlos. I don't know if she got that one off. It is off the rim and no good, so it doesn't matter anyway. Our score at halftime, Michigan 34, Wisconsin 19. Wolverines finish on an 8-0 run in the final 53 seconds, making 3 of their last 3 from the field. A great close to the half.
Yes, of course. Michigan, an 8-0 run in the last 53 seconds of the first half, and a lot of it Kayla Robbins, 4 quick points with a layup of her own and then a beautiful pass off a fast break that she created with a steal. And just as well, and all of that was without Hallie Thome on the court, the Wolverines' leading scorer. And it's something, now Kim Barnes-Rico will have some adjustments to make. Naz Hillman has had an absolute nightmare of a first half, 0 for 6 from the field in 13 minutes. And really, she's had some rough first halves in the last month or so as well. And be interesting to see how she adjusts.
Johnson 3 of 4 from the field for 6 points, but 2 turnovers. Not as good. It was not a good shooting half for Michigan in general, 39% from the field, but they got to the line effectively and they committed a whole lot less turnovers than Wisconsin did, and they capitalized on those turnovers at a far higher rate than the Badgers. That's how they're up 15 at the half.
That is one thing. Wisconsin had an absolute howler in terms of holding on to the ball. 17 turnovers to Michigan's 9.
And then points off turnovers, 16-3. Michigan played good defense and did just enough offensively to build a big lead up entering halftime. They'll need a strong performance in the second half to seal the number 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
Yes, as Ohio State extends their lead back out to 11 against Rutgers with 90 seconds left in the first half in Columbus.
Any last thoughts?
Nope, bring on the second half.
We'll be back in probably about 11 to 12 minutes with the second half. All right, we are back here for the second half of action between Michigan and Wisconsin in women's basketball. Our score after the first half, Michigan 34, Wisconsin 19. Wolverines didn't shoot particularly well, but neither did the Badgers. Good defense and capitalizing off turnovers, the big themes for the Wolverines in that first half. Also, they were able to get to the foul line with rather a regular consistency. Badgers just unable to get anything going offensively in that first half.
Yeah, and that was the first half that Michigan needed really to put a stamp on this game. Stormed the Badgers in the first half, going to halftime with a 15-point lead. And now for the last half of basketball here at the Chrysler Center, men or women's, for until October, I believe, perhaps early November even. And something to see here, how Kim Barnes-Arico adjusts. See how if Naz Hillman able to bounce back and have a strong second half. But either way, Michigan a commanding lead on this game, and they've really needed it. Ohio State up 13 at the half, 38-25. And as we've said earlier in the broadcast, those games very important for the Big Ten Conference standings, being whichever team of those two who finishes higher in the standings gets the double bye, fourth place in the conference regular season. And Michigan, and both teams have even records, but Michigan having the head-to-head advantage. Michigan wins today, then they do get a 2-day bye.
Yeah, 20 minutes away from that number 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament, which would be just a rather miraculous turnaround from how the early season had gone for the Wolverines. They would end at, I believe, what's their conference record currently?
10-7.
10-7. So they would finish at 11-7 in the conference, 4 games above 500, and that would really be off the backs of what would be an 8-1 finish.
I was about to say they opened conference season 3-6.
Yep. You could enter March with a lot of confidence. So Wisconsin starts with the ball to begin the third quarter of play, trailing by 15. See if they change their offensive approach at all. It was a lot of perimeter dribbling and very little penetration until late in the shot clock. Same thing here so far, 13 on the shot clock. They still haven't entered inside the arc. Now here's a drive to the lane, laying it up and off the mark. Rebound by Hallie Thome, and that miss by Van Leeuwen. Munger to Dilk. Inside, and poked out of bounds by Wisconsin, out of the hands of Haley Brown. Michigan will get to inbound it. And very quick timeout there by Jonathan Sippis. Just 38 seconds into this third quarter. He only took one timeout in that first half, which was to stem a rising tide by the Wolverines early in the first quarter.
That's a very odd step right there by Coach Sippis, and really, if I were a coach, I'd honestly want, number one, barring disastrous circumstances, I wouldn't look to burn any timeouts in the third quarter. But evidently, Sippis sees something, and he's not even talking with his players. He's going over it with his staff.
Now he's going to walk over to the players, and he sits down with the whiteboard. Not a whole lot you can really say here. I mean, early on, you've only seen one possession of offense for your team, and not even a full extended possession on defense yet.
Yeah, really hard to say. An odd step, and the only thing I can think of is that if Coach Sippis is really just looking to slow this game down.
Yeah. Got the band playing in what is a pretty solid crowd for this Sunday, the final home regular season game for the Michigan Wolverines. The men had their final game on Thursday, so Chrysler ending its run in the 2018-19 athletic season.
And worked well enough for the men, going fairly astonishing. I believe it was 17-1.
Yeah.
In regular season play for Michigan. Women's basketball, I do not know the exact record. However, there is no doubt.
Somewhere in here earlier. Michigan is 12-1 at home, 5-8 on the road.
And that one loss at home would have been to Michigan State.
Yes.
So in other words, Michigan men's and women's combined. Can't remember. Were the men 18-1 or 17-1?
I think you said 17.
I said 17, but I think John Beeline said 18-1 when he addressed the team in the court.
And to the women's team's credit, they only lost by 4.
Yep.
At home to MSU, and that was before they went on their big run.
Yep, and that was their last loss before the big run. Their 7-game run bookended by losses to Michigan State, and they very likely would have won that game in Ann Arbor had Nicole Munger not gone down with an ankle injury in the second quarter.
Michigan out of the timeout, quickly inside to Thome. She feeds to Dilk, decided not to pull up when she was inside the paint. Church outside, 7 on the shot clock, going to find Brown, trying to look inside for Thome, tipped around out of bounds off Michigan.
And really that's a weakness to Amy Dilk's game. She had the space. She very well could have pulled up. That's about 12 feet. But she is just not confident in her shot.
Well, that's something to work on going forward for the freshman. Van Leeuwen to Beverly. Inside. Lewis in the post, guarded by Thome. Nice spin move to get inside, just couldn't finish. Thome corrals the rebound well, and then gets it up to Dilk.
All right, can confirm Michigan men's basketball 17-1 at home. That would leave Michigan basketball period 29-2 at Chrysler for the 18-19 season.
Thome inside, now to Robbins in the paint. They go right back to Robbins. Now to Church, corner, open 3 for Dilk, and she swishes it. Finally taking her shot there, and she knocks it down to put Michigan up 18, 37-19.
Amy Dilk has made less than 10 three-pointers on the season.
Well, got that one to go on a pretty good-looking stroke, too, from the corner.
I was about to say, that didn't hit the rim.
Danger zone now for Wisconsin, and they quickly fumble that one out of bounds off the hands of Marcia Howard, who, Howard, I believe, has 3 fouls.
She does. And just to add some context, that was Amy Dilk's 7th three-pointer of the season.
Well, at 7 for 20 on the year, not a terrible clip.
No, it is
great,
not.
But something to work on going forward. It's just a very small sample size. Munger to Church. Gets the screen from Robbins. It's a great screen. Church inside, laying it up and laying it in. Wow, that was, Robbins took 2 players out of the play on that one.
And Deja Church is a very streaky player. Perhaps this can ignite a little run from her, the sophomore guard from Southfield, Michigan. Really has the tools, runs low to the ground, very fast, but at times can get into trouble with fouls and can sometimes get a little bit overconfident in her shot.
Tremendous crossover there for Beverly to get inside and kicked it out to a wide-open Carlos, who just could not hit. Wisconsin really struggling. Have not scored in the first 3 minutes of this second half. Great kick there from Hallie Thome. Open 3 and knocking it down from the wing, Haley Brown. And Michigan leads 42-19.
And as stated, Michigan not a good three-point shooting team at all. Nicole Munger, the only one over 30%. But if there is one player who's emerged later in this season as a secondary three-point threat, it's Haley Brown.
Well, and it's a lot easier to make threes even if you are a bad shooter when you get them as wide open as those couple looks were. And that's a tremendous pass from Hallie Thome to go straight from the post to wide open catch and shoot from the corner for Brown, and she knocks it down. And Michigan now starting to run away with this one.
Yeah, Coach Sippis really needs to put a bandage on this one for the Badgers as media timeout as the crowd at Chrysler on their feet as free T-shirts are getting tossed into the audience. And trust me, Dre, and you don't want to gesture like that because at our broadcast Thursday night against Nebraska, we got hit with one from the T-shirt cannon.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah. Well, more specifically, Emily Herrard got it. But
did she catch it, or did she just get hit in the face?
It missed her head by about 6 inches.
Jack Molino caught one earlier this year on a separate broadcast, so as far as I know, then CBN claimed 2 this year.
I didn't realize that until one nearly hit her, that and she was right next to me at the time, was that they keep the T-shirts wound with tape.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of Emily Herrard, this is senior day for the women's basketball team, honoring the 4 seniors on the team, of course, Nicole Munger, Hallie Thome, Sam Trammell, and Taylor Rooks. But it remains as also a day for the managers. Their final game, their final home games with the team, and WCBN well connected with the women's basketball team. Of course, one you've probably heard of is, for those of you who listened a fair bit, is Lucas Vargas, sophomore, but 2 WCBN members, seniors, managing their last home game for the women's basketball team, Emily Herrard and Grant Froling.
Dalton Pataki, also an alumni manager from CBN. It looks like Blasty, the Stormtrooper, is in attendance here today. I didn't see him in the first half, but
indeed, he's been there the entire time. He has the maize and blue Canadian flag for when Haley Brown hits a shot.
Sitting very prominently behind the basket that Michigan has been scoring on this half.
And of course, this is a great opportunity today to provide a nice close to a weekend that has largely, softball notwithstanding, been quite trying for Michigan athletics.
I mean, it's mostly just hockey being bad.
Yeah, but that's largely what's happened. Baseball had their Saturday game postponed after the win on Friday.
At least they get to play a doubleheader today.
Yep, and they're currently up 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Under 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Wisconsin out of the timeout with the ball, looking to finally get on the board in the third frame. Passing it around now inside. That's a good look for Marcia Howard, but she just can't finish. Wisconsin struggled inside. Really struggled everywhere, but they've had some good looks. Wolverines quickly inside, laying it up, but blocked.
I don't know if I really call that a block so much as just a strip.
And now looks like it's going to be a blocking foul on Nicole Munger.
And that's, Nicole Munger is really the best, one of the best in the country at that, trying to take charges. But even still, for a player as good with that as Nicole Munger, she doesn't get her feet set. And really, at that point, it's a guess more than anything.
So that puts shooter at the line, Gilreath, who makes the first. Gilreath was barreling down the lane in transition when she ran over Munger. Makes them both, so Wisconsin finally on the board. Still haven't made a field goal, though. Church passes it around. They find Dilk outside. Very careful not to travel there as their feet almost came out of position. Now great feet on a back screen looking for Munger. No. Rebound. Thome puts it up. That one off the mark. Couple good looks for the Wolverines. Can't get him to drop.
Well, Hallie Thome is not great coming straight on the basket. She's way better coming in on the sides.
42-21. Michigan doubling up Wisconsin. 5:48 to go in the third quarter. Baseline drive and a block there by Nicole Munger, and she snatches the rebound. Michigan might have some numbers in transition. Munger going to dribble inside, looks for Thome, finds the pass, lays it up, and lays it in.
And that's it right there. And just so we're all clear, Nicole Munger, who is 5'11", just blocked out, I believe that was 6'2", Imani Lewis.
Yeah, that was a great block. Now Lewis throws it up. No. Rebound grab down in Wisconsin. I mean, just cannot get anything to go. Now it's loose on the floor. Michigan is going to tie it up, and they've got the possession here. A third time in this game that they've been awarded the ball off a held ball. We got a couple subs. Kayla Robbins and Naz Hillman will come in for Haley Brown and Hallie Thome. Hillman really struggled in that first half. 0 for 6 from the field. Looked to get it going here in the third quarter. Dilk to Church. Got Munger wide open. Decided not to go up with it. Church to Dilk. Back to Church. Open three. And it goes down. Michigan heating up from the field here in this third quarter and starting to pour it on against the Badgers, up 47-21. Wisconsin takes a three. That one in and out. They just cannot hit the broadside of the barn right now. Church dribbles up with it. Throws on the brakes, looking inside for Naz Hillman. They've really struggled to even just connect with Hillman inside.
Now that really was not a great pass. She had the easy pass to lay it back to Nicole Munger, but opted to take the low percentage pass over to Hillman, who was well marked.
Imani Lewis bowls over Church, and Church is called for the foul. Crowd doesn't like that one.
And this is where, if you're Kim Barnes-Arico, you might want to be a little bit careful with Deja Church. Church, talented player, and as she goes to the bench now accordingly, but a player now with her second foul and has demonstrated this season a penchant for picking up a lot of fouls in a short amount of time.
Wisconsin to inbound, as it was a block before the shot. Lewis drives in, lays it up, and gets it to go. Wisconsin finally with a field goal here in the second half. Took them about 6 minutes to get it, though. They've only got 4 points over that span. Dilk had another opportunity to go up from 3 if she wanted it. Munger to Johnson. Dilk outside. Corner to Munger. And we're going to get a 3-second on Michigan as Munger had switched to the 3, but it will be negated.
And that's, even if that didn't go in, that's good for her confidence. Of course, you hit a 3 on time. That's always a good thing to see. And I think that 3-second call is on Naz Hillman, really. She, now through almost 3 quarters, she's had an absolute howler.
Yeah, tough day for her. Michigan will want to try to get her going later in the game and hope that can restore her confidence going into the Big Ten tournament. She takes it away. Michigan runs up. They're going to find Munger. Oh, just too far for her. She was running out in transition. Stretch pass from Robbins. Just a little out in front, and it rolls out of bounds.
That stretch pass was actually from Amy Dilk, and she made a very similar pass prior to that to Hallie Thome, but this one led Munger a little bit too much.
And looks like we're going to have another timeout for the Badgers.
And Jonathan Sippis, I believe, is now out of timeouts.
No, I think he's down to just 1 by my count. Or maybe he's out. I don't know. The board, yeah, he is out.
He is
the
out.
The board has updated to 0. So
out of timeouts for, I believe, the rest of the second half. And
yep.
Coach Sippis really has not made. I hate to cast aspersions when I can't see what's going on in the huddle, but really looks like he has not managed the third quarter well at all.
Well, his team hasn't gotten much going whatsoever. They just have been dreadful offensively at just 28% from the field, only 4 of 8 from the free throw line, and 19 turnovers. It's only so much you can say in a timeout if the players just don't have it on a given day, and that's what it seemed like.
And now Rutgers in Columbus has cut the lead to 4, 41-37 in favor of Ohio State with 5:50 left in the third quarter.
Well, they're outscoring the Buckeyes 12-3 in the third quarter.
And perhaps you say with the score of this Michigan game, that game is largely irrelevant, because with a win here today, Michigan is 13 minutes and 30 seconds away from that with a commanding 24-point lead. Then the result of the Ohio State game really does not matter.
So out of the timeout, Wisconsin with the ball. We'll see if they can get more consistency, because they haven't really had their timeouts used effectively. Never really had an answer. Driving inside. Oh, and what a swat there from Kayla Robbins. Turning it aside.
And another excellent heads-up play by Kayla Robbins. Really been a strong defensive player. Doesn't get anywhere near the credit she's deserved in the last month and a half or so.
Wisconsin inbounds it. They've got 8 on the shot clock, so have to be quick. 5 now on the shot clock and a loose ball. Dilk continuing to guard well. 1 on the shot clock. She didn't get it off. And Wisconsin out of the timeout. And another turnover.
And you see Amy Dilk with that big grin on her face. She knows that was an she forced that turnover essentially. That was fantastic defense. First with the loose ball and not letting her get any space.
Michigan, nice feed underneath and laying it in. Naz Hillman finally on the board. 49-23 Wolverines. About as easy as it comes to snap the cold streak. 49-23 Michigan. Badgers have just 4 points in the third quarter, and that one wild and out of control, out of bounds.
And that really kind of sums up the day Wisconsin has been having overall.
Yep. Deja Church back into the game as Nicole Munger heads to the bench. Church, great pass to the corner to Johnson. Could have gone up with it if she wanted to. Church to Dilk. Back to Church. Trying to look inside for Hillman, and that one taken away. They just have never been able to get it to Hillman with any consistency today, and that one is going to be an offensive foul. A great take by Deja Church, but she looks like she is hurt.
And
clutching the midsection and laying over on her side. Looks like the trainer is going to be coming out.
And it's really hard to say. And Kim Barnes-Arico coming out first, and it looks like she's going to be okay. But let me tell you, that basket nearest to us is cursed. That's the exact same spot where Nicole Munger sustained an ankle injury driving to the rim. That's where, or that held her out for the Michigan State game that they ultimately lost. That's the same spot at which Amy Dilk fell on her right, already not great knee, and it caused her 2 weeks. And that was the same place where Iggy Brosdakis tweaked his ankle against Nebraska on Thursday.
Just an out-of-control drive there by Bragg for the Badgers. And another 3-second, wow.
3 3-second violations in a game. I think that's probably more than every other basketball game I've ever seen in my life combined.
Yeah, I don't see those too often.
Like, I think I'll see the occasional, like you see the occasional 3-second violation in the old 2K games, but that's about it.
Yeah. $1:47 to go in the third quarter, and there Wisconsin finally gets one to go from outside. Gilreath knocks down a three, and we're going to have a quick travel call on Church.
And that's the weakness to Deja Church, is that she is streaky one way, except she's also tend to be very streaky another way. You can see lots of instances where she scores a lot of points in a short amount of time, but also where she has a lot of fouls and turnovers in a short amount of time.
49-26 Wolverines. Wisconsin, sort of a heat check three there from way outside, off the heel, and the big arcing rebound pulled down, and they'll get a fresh 30. Badgers quick find, great pass inside, laying it up and in. Easy money there from Marcia Howard.
And that's a mismatch right there. Amy Dilk, when switched on forwards, will be better than your average guard who switched onto her forward due to her size. But Marcia Howard, that's just a mismatch.
Michigan, 3 of their last 3 from the field, but they also have 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes to the rim, off the mark from Robbins. Wisconsin with the ball, 1 minute to go here in the third quarter. They've finally been playing with a bit better consistency. Howard kicks it back out, dribbling around are the Badgers. 17 on the shot clock. They got plenty of time to work. Howard inside to Amani Lewis. Lewis spins, and she'll put it up. No, but she'll draw the foul. Robbins will pick up her third.
Now that's Kayla Robbins' third. If you're Kim Barnes-Arico, I think you probably look at taking her out for the rest of the third quarter, absolutely. And you probably look at limiting her minutes in the fourth.
The line to shoot the Badgers, 34, Amani Lewis.
Lewis at the line, swishes the first, cuts the Michigan lead down to 20. Wisconsin on now a 6-0 run. Over the last minute and 13, Michigan hasn't scored in the last 2.5. It'll be a 3.5-second difference between shot clock and game clock here at the end of the third quarter. 49-30, Michigan. Dilk to Johnson to Church. Wolverines don't seem in any kind of a hurry here. Dilk to Johnson. Robbins. Church. Everyone on the perimeter. Nice feed. Dilk had an opportunity for an open shot. Gives it back to Church. She's just got to pull up for the jumper. No, it's blocked. And a takeaway, though, as Wisconsin tried to run in transition. Dilk swipes it. Her half-court shot at the buzzer is no good. And so our score at the end of the third quarter, Michigan 49, Wisconsin 30.
Well, Wisconsin asking a few questions. Michigan 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes, 7 in the last 5 as Wisconsin closes the third quarter on a 7-0 run. I was about to say fourth quarter. Yeah, let's ask how long it's going to take before Kim Barnes-Arico dips into her bench and gets some of the reserves some time, including the two seniors who have yet to play today, Taylor Rooks and Samantha Trammell. But Wisconsin delaying that a little bit.
Yeah, Badgers with a strong 7-0 run to close out that half and make it a bit more respectable. Michigan now 10 minutes away from locking up the 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
And now Rutgers cutting Ohio State's lead to 1 in Columbus. 3:47 left in the third quarter. Ohio State 41, Rutgers 40.
Not too often you see a 1-point game where Ohio State is shooting 67% from the field.
Yes, Ohio State has gone absolutely cold in the last 4 minutes or so.
Committing a lot of turnovers, and Rutgers a lot of offensive rebounds that has allowed them to take a whole lot more shots than the Buckeyes.
And now, be interesting to see to know what Kim Barnes-Arico is saying to her team. Probably something along the lines of just scale it back, relax, don't freak out too much. And with, of course, a 19-point lead, Munger and Thome are their last games at the Chrysler Center. Would not surprise me at all if about 2 minutes left, Coach Arico pulls them both and let them get their applause from the crowds here at the Chrysler Center, which, once again, for the Sunday of spring break, pretty well represented.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Wisconsin committing, keeping it relatively under control in the third quarter, committing a mere 4 turnovers.
Yeah, and a lot of those turnovers early on, they straightened things out a bit towards the end of that quarter. There is a scenario where these two teams could play again in the Big Ten tournament because Wisconsin's locked into the 12-13 matchup, of which the winner will play the 5-seed Ohio State, assuming Michigan holds on here. Let's say Wisconsin beats Penn State and then upsets Ohio State. This could be a rematch in Michigan's first game.
I don't know if I'd favor that. Ohio State does look to be quite good. Perhaps Naz Hillman's biggest competition for Big Ten Freshman of the Year is their center from Pécs, Hungary, Dorka Juhász.
Yeah.
Daniel Thompson was very happy to learn of her existence.
Rebound pulled down by Hallie Thome off a Badger miss as we get underway in the fourth quarter. Fresh 10 minutes on the clock. Thome still out there, as is Haley Brown. Munger, 10 on the shot clock. She'll get passed around, continuing to just sort of cycle now, driving inside, laying it up, and laying it in.
And that was Taylor Rooks, and it was not announced. Kim Barnes-Arico went straight to her reserves. Both of her last 2 seniors, Taylor Rooks and Samantha Trammell, getting game action in their last game.
Badgers passing it around the exterior. Carless to Gilreath. Inside, Imani Lewis takes a jumper off the mark. Hallie Thome, another rebound. Thome has 7 of those, 12 and 7 for her. Brown, feet across, and that one is knocked out of bounds. He's looking for Rooks. Michigan will retain possession.
And really now Michigan, it looks like Kim Barnes-Arico has already implemented a strategy to kill off the game, and that is just take as long as possible.
Well, Wisconsin's not going to start fouling, you don't think. Not when you're down 21 with only 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Munger to Brown to Thome. Nice feed underneath. Going up for the shot was Rooks. She draws the foul.
That was actually Samantha Trammell.
Yeah, it was Trammell, yeah.
Rooks already on the board. Trammell also has the opportunity to complete the quad in which all 4 seniors scoring in their last games.
Trammell gets her first to go, and there a big cheer from the crowd. 52-30. Trammell dribbles it once and delivers the second one off the mark. Rebound tipped around, the Badgers control. 8 minutes remaining. Carlos inside, nice feed and laying it up, but off the mark. Wisconsin's really struggled around the rim, and another one off the heel. Michigan grabs the rebound down. 2 misses there from Wisconsin, and then an odd play tipped up in the air, finally corralled by Munger. She dribbles inside, floater, gets it to go in the lane.
And Nicole Munger having a bit of an understated game, now up to 5 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, but she's now played 26 minutes and has a plus-minus of 34. I know some people not a fan of the plus-minus stat, but when it's consistently high the way Nicole's is, and today it's monstrously high, then you can tell even she is still impacting the game to a large degree.
Bounced around on the floor, and it's going to be a held ball. And again, it's the 4th time in this game that Michigan has been awarded the ball via the possession arrow in a held ball situation. .25 to go. Munger essentially playing the point guard position. Dribbling it up and then stolen there. Rooks lost it. Taken away. Galloping down is Wisconsin, and they put it in.
And that's an easy one right there. And when you're playing deeper reserves, that you're probably going to get some things like that, especially Wisconsin still playing their best players.
Van Leeuwen got the 2 points on that one. Brown inside, looking for Thome, goes up with it, and a great block by the Badgers. 3 red shirts converge on Thome to swat it away.
And Hallie Thome having the strongest game of all the seniors in regarding traditional stats. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 for 8 from the field. Has an opportunity to close her career at the Chrysler Center with a double-double.
Quick shot off the inbounds pass. No good. Rebound down by Wisconsin. Jumper tipped around, no. Rebound by the Badgers. 6:35. Carlos drives inside, underhand scoop and score. Good looking play there from Carlos.
And now you see Danielle Roach going over to the scorer's table for Michigan. The freshman point guard has not played a lot and will likely, if I had to guess, will replace Nicole Munger.
15 on the shot clock. Rooks. Munger. Thome. Kicks it out. Open look, and a shot off the mark by Brown. Badgers, nice pass inside, kick, outside, Carlos for 3, knocks it down. And Carlos has now got her few points, and I think we're going to get a timeout by Kim Barnes-Arico, and a 7-0 Badger run in the last 90 seconds.
And that's a well-used timeout. Maybe Danielle Roach is not going to be the only substitute she makes, and actually it looks like she may be replacing Haley Brown instead of Nicole Munger, as Wisconsin cutting the lead back down to 17. Again, still in under 6 minutes left, still not really worth worrying about Wisconsin on another 7-0 run in the last minute and a half. It's something that Kim Barnes-Arico, you look at that and maybe you go, I want to stop that right now. Michigan has not scored in 2 minutes.
5 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the game. Michigan 54, Wisconsin 37.
And update in Columbus, 21 seconds left in the third quarter. Both teams holding steady. Ohio State now with a lead, 49-46. And a bit of an update around Michigan sports. Top of the 9th inning, Michigan baseball leading Cal State Northridge 4-2 in the first leg of a doubleheader brought about by postponement of yesterday's game due to weather. California getting hammered with inclement weather really since the start of the new year.
Yeah, it was a big bottom of the 8th there for the Wolverines baseball. They got 2 huge strikeouts from Willie Weiss to get out of a jam and preserve the 2-run lead. It's a doubleheader today.
Willie Weiss, a bit surprising he came out in the 8th inning. The hotshot freshman from Oregon, really seen as the replacement to Will Tribuker as the closer. But
well, there was the bases loaded and a 2-run lead.
Yeah.
1 out. That's when you go to your best pitcher as a reliever. And
Okay.
Michigan basketball, the men are about to tip off in about 10 minutes.
And of course, we've talked about them early on in the broadcast, but Michigan softball on the verge of capping an absolutely fantastic weekend with a pair of top 5 wins.
.5:45 remaining. Michigan inbounds it out of the timeout. We'll see if any adjustments were made of note.
Yeah, it looks like the only adjustment made was that Danielle Roach substituted in for Haley Brown.
Baseline jumper, Munger left it a little short. Rebound down by the Badgers. Beverly guarded by Roach. Dribbling into the paint, trying to kick outside. Taken away there by Trammell. On the floor is Munger, and she's very slow to get up. Joining the play late.
And Nicole Munger hobbling on that left ankle again. She's really played on one ankle most of the last 2 months.
And gonna have a whistle. Michigan will get some subs in. Headed to the bench is Rooks, the crowd giving a standing ovation. Now quickly up, here come the Badgers off a steal and laying it up and laying it in.
And that's a poor inbound pass by Thome. And Nicole Munger also taken off, and with that ankle possibly for the last time.
Roach with the ball. A thank you seniors chant starting up. Young also into this game now for the Wolverines. And going to be out of bounds off Michigan. So the Badgers now have trimmed it to a 15-point game, 54-39, with 4:23 to go.
And now Michigan digging deeper into their bench as Emily Kaiser into the game, along with Ariel Young, who's already in the game. I believe that leaves Priscilla Smingy as the last Michigan player who has yet to enter the game.
Amy Dilks does check back in. Michigan retains the ball. Hillman looking for Thome. Thome able to corral it, laying it up and under. Great move there. And Michigan finally gets some points to stem the tide on what had been a 9-0 Wisconsin run over about a 3-minute span. 3-pointer for Wisconsin, and knocking it down there is Gilreath. She is now 2 for 3 on the day from distance, and it's only a 14-point game, 3:55 to go.
I think you're at this stage still under 4 minutes to go. Kim Barnes-Arico, you're still just in take time off.
Yep.
You trust your defense.
They get it to Hillman underneath, lays it up and lays it in, or off the mark rather. Struggling up close, and there's a shot blocked. Gilreath took that 3, and it was denied. It's going to be out of bounds off Wisconsin, so it'll be Michigan ball.
Well, you saw Marcia Howard arguing that it was off Naz Hillman's thigh.
It might have had an argument there.
And that's why Michigan should probably get this inbound in very quickly, as Hallie Thome will leave the game, and most likely for the final time.
Wisconsin still only shooting 33% from the field. Michigan not a whole lot better at 43%. 56-42 Wolverines. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Corner, open 3, too strong, but a good rebound underneath by Hillman. Looks like she rushed it a little bit and trying to go back up with it. 12-2 Wisconsin run over about 4 minutes of game action. Dribbling into the lane, Beverly puts it up. Count it! And a foul.
And Emily Kaiser there trying to take a a page from Nicole Munger's book trying to draw that foul, but didn't sell it well and did not get her feet set. And now camera over on Kim Barnes-Arico and Nicole Munger on the bench. Bit of a concerning sight. Now Wisconsin cutting the lead to 11.
However, the 3 minutes remaining is the saving grace for the Wolverines, even if they have allowed what is now a 15-2 run over 4 minutes. They just need, it feels like just maybe 2 or 3 more baskets to put it on ice. Baseline drive, oh boy, way too strong there from Young. And now a throw down the court, laying it up, Wisconsin putting it in. And 56-47, but here's the difference. They cut 2 points back, but it took 30 seconds off the clock. You have to think fouling will probably become a factor late.
And 2.5 minutes left, and you see Kim Barnes-Arico making a sub. Deja Church back in the scorer's table. Kim Barnes-Arico wants to put a little bit more punch back on the court.
They go inside looking for Thome, out of bounds off Wisconsin. 2:13 remaining. Church will check in for Young, who had a bit of a rough run there.
And Ariel Young really only substituted in specialty situations for her defense, and really that was not what was needed right at that moment.
Inbound to Church in the corner. Michigan can hold it all the way down to 2 minutes even. Church has got it open on the wing, drives baseline, in some trouble, 4 on the shot clock. She's just got to put it up. No, tipped around, and that's a shot clock violation. But if nothing else, takes 30 seconds off the clock. Now 1:59 to go.
And Kayla Robbins now back in the game for the Wolverines, and Kim Barnes-Arico has to be really upset right now as her reserves unable to hold the lead.
Yeah, very ugly finish to this game. A 17-2 Wisconsin run. Loose ball taken away by the Wolverines. Dilk able to come away with the steal. Now she dribbles hard to the paint, underneath, laying it up and laying it in. Coast-to-coast finish for Amy Dilk to put Michigan back up 11. 1:40 to go. Carless to Gilreath. Gilreath from 3, off the mark, into the corner. Rebound chased down by Deja Church. And that may well just do it. 90 seconds to go.
And Wisconsin is not pressing the ball, which is something that is a bit odd given that they're still trying to win this game, as Coach Sippis still has all of his starters in the game.
Church outside looked for potential pull-up 3. Now corner, Johnson left it short. Rebound Badgers. 1 minute remaining. 11-point Wolverine lead. Beverly puts up a shot. Short, out of bounds, off Robbins. The fresh 30 for Wisconsin.
And that's Kayla Robbins really just not being aware there, not seeing the ball come down, and allowing Wisconsin an extra possession.
58-47. Johnson pass there to Howard, who total air ball. And now 45 seconds remaining in the game, counting it down, is this home crowd.
And Wisconsin's still not fouling. Maybe Coach Sippis opting just not to do that.
Well, if nothing else, it's a good end for Wisconsin in terms of establishing confidence. Nice pass from Deja Church underneath. There, a shot put up. And drawing a foul, Johnson.
Wisconsin fouls number 34 by Lewis, her first personal foul. Team second.
And I think you really have to say now this game is over.
Yeah.
As fans are starting to leave the Chrysler Center.
Johnson misses her first free throw. Her second goes down with ease. And 59-47, Wolverines. Wisconsin in a lot of trouble. Michigan sort of a full court press. Picked off for a second, and now it's loose on the floor. Robbins comes away with it, and she's stripped from behind by Carless. Now a double team, able to get it out to Gilreath. Open three, no, rattles around underneath. Layup is good there. Cleaning up the leftovers is Marcia Howard, and now a 10-point game, 5 seconds remaining. Wisconsin will not foul, and that'll do it. Our score, Michigan 59, Wisconsin 49. The Wolverines will finish the season 11-7 in the Big Ten and clinch a double bye in the number 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament.
And a fantastic effort by the Wolverines. The final score, a 10-point differential, but not a good indication of how the game was played. Wisconsin going on a late run when Kim Barnes-Rico really went into her deeper reserves, and an excellent closing game for Hallie Thome and Nicole Munger to close their Michigan careers. Special careers for both of them. Hallie Thome, easily, as I said at the top of the broadcast, a top 5 player in program history. And Nicole Munger, similarly, will always be remembered. And you see Hallie Thome and Naz Hillman embrace there on the court. This will likely be Naz Hillman's team next year.
Yep.
And it's something to be excited about going into the tournament. And just a fantastic effort by the team to close the season at home and clinching a double bye, and Rutgers out in the front by 5:50 left in the fourth quarter, 56-51, but that result largely irrelevant now as Michigan clinching fourth place in the conference standings, something that I, as a fan of Arsenal Football Club of the Premier League, can appreciate the vaunted fourth place trophy.
And with it, Michigan is going to win 20 games again, a 20-10 record on the year as a result of this one. And they enter the Big Ten tournament playing with confidence. Their first game in that tournament will be Friday around 2:30 p.m., give or take. Any last thoughts?
All I can say is, on behalf of all of WCBN, congratulations to the women's basketball team for clinching the double bye. Congratulations on today's win. And this will be our last coverage of Michigan's women's basketball of the season. We will not be able to bring the Big Ten tournament or any NCAA play. And to all of that, we would like to say thank you very much to Sarah Van Meter, the SID of the women's basketball team, for allowing us to get in all of the coverage that we have been able to get in.
Yeah, it's been an enjoyable season, a pleasant mid-season turnaround, and we wish them all the best. Moving forward, we'll be back here in November 2019 for the fresh season. Our final score of this one, Michigan 59, Wisconsin 49. From Alex Dre, Nick Hornberg, from Chrysler Center, we say good night and go blue.